Okay, so today we have Joy Division and Shadowplay. So a lot of requests have been coming in for Joy Division, and I mean, you don't have to pull my arm too hard to get me to react to another Joy Division song. Uh, I have listened to a lot of Unknown Pleasures, but I don't remember listening to Shadowplay. I know I haven't listened to both albums fully. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna get into this one today. Again, I love Joy Division, and I'm always happy to get back to them. And I like that other people like to watch me get back to them. So let's get into this, talk about it after, and let's go. That's Joy Division.
Center of the city where a road's been waiting for you. To the depths of the ocean where a hope sank searching for you. I was moving through the silence without motion, waiting for you. In a room with a window in the corner, I found truth.
Birdie.
In the shadow play, acting out your own death, knowing no more. There's the assassin's old group, 10 more lines dancing on the floor. And with cold steel odor on their bodies, made a move to connect. I can understand disbelief is a drop to lead. I did everything I wanted to. I let them use you for their own ends.
Love the backing
To
vocals.
the center of the city in the night, waiting for you. To the center of the city in the night, waiting for you.
All right, Shadowplay by Joy Division. I mean, listening to the song, it makes me think, to Joy Division, I don't think they had time to write a bad song. They were together for like, 2 years or whatever it was. They only had two albums, but, studio albums. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, right off the top, I always say I love Stephen Morris, especially in this song as well. I mean, here, I think he also shows off his chops very well. One of, like, I don't know if it gets said a lot because I don't really read too much about him, but just one of the speediest drummers, one of the fastest drummers I've heard. And I mean, there's a lot of other faster drummers or whatever, but it's just the speed that you can hear him He's just like a drum machine. And it's just, I mean, I just love, I mean, it's hard because, it's Ian Curtis, it's Bernie Sumner, it's friggin' Peter Hook and Stephen Morris. But I love Stephen Morris so much. But I mean, again, each member of this band is so important. And again, talking about, old Bernard Sumner here, that it was like he had a couple solos in there. I guess, I don't know if you would call them solos. I mean, there's also the drums and such going as well. But I mean, he was just kind of doing his own thing. And it was just like so, like the ups and downs of his, when he was doing his guitar part. And it's just like at certain points or whatever. And it's just, I mean, it's just enthralling. And I mean, again, I mean, you always talk, I mean, Ian Curtis's voice. I mean, I've talked about it so much through, Joy Division reactions and reviews. But I mean, it's just that deep freaking, and it just hits you. It's just so much emotion. And I mean, again, some of the lyrics here that he says, and it's just like, and then of course his death. I always talk about his death, but I mean, obviously with, every Joy Division song, it's, even though Joy's in their name, a lot of their songs weren't joyful at all. So yeah, just, great production. I mean, the atmosphere here, atmosphere in almost any Joy Division song is kind of strange, whatever, kind of murky, you could say. That's a word that I've seen used. And I mean, yeah, it's just, foggy, all that kind of stuff. And just kind of scary. Maybe not, I don't know. It's just unpleasant. I don't know. And again, the song kind of being about, I would say alienation, looking for help in a way. But yeah, again, it's just, I mean, it's another great song. Like I said, after the review there, it's just, I don't know if there's a bad Joy Division song. And again, I did say through the song there that I like the backing vocals, and I believe I was right. I thought I heard another voice behind Ian, and it sounded nice. So anyway, I think I was right. Anyway, let's get into this. On the About from Genius, like I usually do. So there's a lot here, but I'll read some anyway. On Shadowplay, the guitars launch into a dimension reminiscent of sonic dimensions that David Bowie and Brian Eno dwelt in during the late 1970s. The band's sound is echoey, and but thanks to Factory Records producer Martin Hannett, it was never empty by adding sound effects such as breaking glass, deep breaths, and footsteps. And I mean, that's another thing that, those footsteps, deep breaths, and breaking glass, like I said, it's so their sound, and it just fits perfectly with what they were bringing to the table. And yeah, Hannett's production just makes this, especially on the drums, for Stephen Morris, it's just beautiful. You couldn't find a better producer here. Hannett brings the music out of the mental torture of the lead singer and into the real world. It's these details that keep you with it and make it feel more measured than their manic live performances. For this, however, he was initially resented by the band. Goes on, the title Shadowplay makes the band's gigs resemble plays presented by casting shadows of puppets or actors on a screen. Ian feels like he is no real person to the audience and feels he is just enacting what they want to see, although they don't even regard him as an actor. They see him as a mere shadow of an actor. So again, I mean, that kind of, I mean, that kind of sounds depressing in and of itself. And I feel like I, stuttered through there. But anyway, so I mean, right off the bat, with the lyrics, looking at the lyrics, to the center of the city where all the roads meet, waiting for you. And just the way, again, Ian delivers these lines is just, I don't know if anyone else could do it justice. His voice was one of a kind, really. But it's just, and again, just so much, so much. Obviously, just that voice is just so guttural or whatever. It's just, I don't know, you can't freaking get enough. Anyway, and then we go on to the depths of the ocean where all hope sank, searching for you. Great little, almost poetic here. Again, talking about, Shadowplay, talking about a play. Shakespeare comes to mind. I mean, these words, they sound beautiful. Anyway, I was moving through the silence without motion, waiting for you. So a lot of waiting for you. In a room with a window in the corner, I found truth. So there are some annotations here. Goes on, Shadowplay deals with the subject of alienation and helplessness, which I guess I said, so I got that right. He wanted to move closer, but something always kept him to the ground, like a ball in a chain. So, again, it's just so sad. He searched everywhere with his closed world, and again, what is his move closer, but something always kept him, and then, of course, Closer was the next album. I don't know if that was intentional by the writer who wrote this annotation or not. Anyway, he searched everywhere within his closed world, but he knew he was just moving through the silence without motion, and again, Ian Curtis, I think he was 24 when he passed, and now I don't know if I probably mentioned that before, but now I'm 24. I just turned 24. I don't think I've done a Joy Division reaction since my birthday. And it's just weird that he died at my age, and it's just like I couldn't imagine. I don't know that he already had this so much. He was already iconic. Well, he wasn't. I guess in his mind he wasn't iconic then, but 40 years on since his death, yeah, he's obviously an iconic figure, especially for post-punk and such. Anyway, I'll finish this quote. He searched everywhere within his closed world, but he knew it was just moving through the silence without motion. He was tied up in another dimension, like there was a thick glass wall between him and the other people. So that whole wall of glass. Liam Gallagher. Anyway, second verse, in the Shadowplay, acting out your own death. And when he said that line, that's what I mean when I said earlier. It's just like, some of the lyricism here, and you talk in, and that's another comment I've got. There's so much I want to say. That's another comment I got recently that, made me want to do another Joy Division reaction was somebody, I don't remember the song now, maybe New Dawn Fades. But anyway, somebody was talking about how, he's kind of foreshadowing his death. And I mean, I think that's a lot of the songs that they did, a lot of the songs that he wrote, that he sang with, and my glasses are fogging up, which is bad, but anyway, it's hot in here. But yeah, and so, talking about, in the Shadowplay, acting out your own death, it's just like no more. I mean, this is, it could be him talking to himself. It's just, again, talking about all this stuff. I mean, this foreshadow is there, and I mean, Shadowplay. Anyway, as the assassins all grouped in 4 lines, dancing on the floor, and with cold steel odor on their bodies, so detailed, made a move to connect, but I could only stare in disbelief as the crowds all left. So it goes on. There is a long annotation here. Maybe I'll read a little bit. He was a public person, being a band frontman, often among crowds of people, but he felt as lonely as ever. People were dancing on the floor before him, and he tried to connect, even though they smelled as cold as steel. Okay, so yeah, now I get it. He reached out to them, but they didn't get it. Just as he opened up, they left, since it was nothing more than a show to them. He was entertaining them with his seizures. Then the quote here, acting out your own death. They didn't take him seriously, or from his point of view, it wasn't what he was searching for. So again, this is I mean, I didn't even really think about all this stuff, again, just listening to the song and now looking at the lyrics again, afterwards, him talking about, again, his whole the seizure dance. And I know that he had seizures on stage and such, and it was not, not good, obviously. And then, of course, it's just for people going to a show. Yeah, it's just a show. Yeah, and again, talking about the lyrics, it's just like you don't really take the lyrics seriously. It's just like, okay, I mean, the song is sad, and the words are kind of depressing, but I mean, he's not gonna, commit suicide or what. Then, of course, he does. It's just, I mean, yeah, you don't really think about this when you're going to a show, especially when you're just like a teenager in 1980 or 1979, whatever. It's just like, oh, this is just music. I mean, yeah, this isn't really a cry for help, is it? Maybe it is. And even I know some of the band members as well. I got to take these off. Holy moly. Even some of the band members of Joy Division, I mean, all the band members, I think, anyway, Bernie and Peter and freaking Steven, have talked about before. I watched an interview before I did this video, where it's just talking about, we didn't really know so much. We knew that he was sick, but it's just like we didn't really know how bad it was, or how he was saying it through his lyrics or whatever. But anyway, the last annotation here for the outro. So yeah, I did everything I wanted to. I let them use you for their own ends. That's a line there for you. To the center of the city, in the night, waiting for you. And then, the final lines are Ian Curtis's, lamenting that he let the good innocent child at his core be kicked around by others, and he participated willingly. So again, just, like usual. I mean, again, Joy Division coming through here, talking. My goodness, I gotta get my glasses again. I can't see. But talking about, these themes, alienation, helplessness, especially, helplessness, but looking for help, I would say. And just such a monster track. I every song I listen to, I'm just, I think especially when I listen to the song, I looked at the camera a couple times, like, I don't know, I'm just, taken aback every time I listen to Joy Division. Love their sound. Each member was just so good, and they're still, obviously Ian's passed. I mean, yeah, but the other members are still, alive, and that's great, because they were so good, and they are so good, whatever, because, yeah, they're alive. But anyway, I mean, I guess that's all I gotta really say. I was happy to get back to Joy Division here. It's just beautiful. I'll probably do another New Order reaction, because, again, they're very well requested as well at some point soon. But, yeah, just love them. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff. Really appreciate all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.